I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and be excited for the next 2 hours or 1 hour. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to last. I think it's going to be just 1 hour, but we are about to watch the playoffs of the Mind Sports Olympiad Grand Prix in Azul. I haven't streamed any Azul content in a while, but hopefully those of you who have been hungry for Azul content can enjoy it. And here, this is what happened. This was, I would say, the most prestigious, or one of the most prestigious online Azul tournaments of the year. 48 players participated, and we have just concluded the Swiss tournament stage. We're going to look at the results of that in a second. And the top 4 players will be playing in the semifinals and finals. You can see their screen names at the top of the screen. So the Romanian player with screen name Bulit will be playing against the Japanese master with screen name Chiba 1i, also a YouTuber, by the way. They have Azul strategy videos in Japanese. And the Chinese player with screen name Self-Evident, who is also known for his strong Carcassonne performance, that's Sung Yu Chin, will be playing against the Belgian, I think, newcomer. At least I haven't really played much with them, with the screen name Cassis. So we will be looking at both games, but for starters, let's look at Busulica, because that's the top seed. Ah, this is interesting. So they have not started yet. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you who else participated in the tournament. So there were 51 players, and the top 4 players qualified. You can see the full table here. So there were 7 rounds, and in order to win access to the playoffs, one needed to score 5.5 points out of 7 games. So interestingly, these 2 players drew each other. So the Romanian player with screen name Busulica is the only one to have not lost a game. Interestingly, look at how many players were left at 5 points, just half a point short of the qualification threshold. This includes Arpad Gere of Romania, who also happens to be the 2022 Carcassonne World Champion, Matej Brzeski, who was the highest rated, or at least the second highest rated player in the tournament, and also a Mind Sports Olympiad Pentamine champion, like the overall Mind Sports Olympiad champion 5 times, or just ridiculously strong Mind Sports athlete. Statmat, that's the reigning world Carcassonne champion and former silver medalist of of the Azul Mind Sports Olympiad. No, former bronze medalist of last year's Azul Mind Sports Olympiad. Then there's Sunny, who I think won a qualification spot at the World Championship, and which is happening later in Azul. Then there's 71st, who is a strong Carcassonne player. Michalis, former gold medalist of the live Mind Sports Olympiad in Azul, and yours truly, last year's silver medalist. This year, not gonna work. This year's yours commentator. So let's see if the playoffs have actually started. Yes, they have. So the Japanese player is considerably outrating his Romanian counterpart, and both players have already started. They're playing pretty quickly. So as we see, Chiba now already completed their row 3, of course at the expense of 1 tile in the floor line. Yeah, Busulica, interesting move here. I actually think it's a no, not sure. No, it's definitely makes sense, because it aligns with the column, and this gives an interesting choice, a very interesting choice to his opponent. So of course Chiba wants to take the 2 blacks, but This is very, very interesting. And 2 gold go to the second row for Bulit. So you see the Romanian player is just simply building a column, but here's the problem with that. So he now is forced to discard one of the 2 tile groups, and 2 gold go on Chiba's second row. And here we can see that the Japanese player has the clear advantage with more neatly laid columns, with 1 extra completed row, with 3 extra tiles placed and 2 extra points. It does seems that the tile runout is absolutely fantastic for the Romanian player, though, but interesting, very, very interesting. So he grabs the reds immediately, and look at, he plays so incredibly fast. Honestly, I can't even analyze the situation this quickly. So the idea of taking these 2 reds is, of course, to maximize the adjacency bonuses next to his second column, but also to take away the reds that Chiba needs for his bottom row. However, there's still 3 reds available, and eventually they could converge. So now what we expect, I think there could be a bit of a fight for the blues. So probably if I'm Chiba, the move I'm considering 2 blues over here on row 3, and then maybe Bulit takes this blue, and then I take, as the Japanese, this blue. Bulit maybe takes 4 whites. I take 2 whites for row 2, then gold. So the idea here is that as the Japanese player, we want to take as many. Wow, what a move! What a fantastic move! I did not see that at all. Did you see what just happened? This move creates a double threat. The Japanese player is threatening to take 1 black for his row 4 and complete his row 4. And if the Romanian wants to take this 1 black to prevent that, wow. And he doesn't want to do that. But my point was, if he were to take this black, then Chiba can still take the whites, no, the blues for row 3. They just fit so perfectly. And now again, the situation is pretty much still the same, because as Chiba, we can really take either these 3 blues for row 3 or this 1 black for row 4. But I think a move that they really should consider is taking these 4 whites and placing it over here. But he actually found something even better. So he groups the 5 whites so that Bulit gets a bit of extra on the floor line. And now, now it's a bit tricky, isn't it? Well, actually, it is not that tricky. I think the move here that one could consider is taking this. Yeah. So we take 1 of these guys. Then Bulit takes 1 yellow. And then we're going to be left with 3 tile groups, right? 3 reds, 3 blues, 2 whites. And basically everything fits so neatly in our second row. Not in our second row, but in... Well, it's a pleasure to watch, actually, the way the Japanese players just managing to calculate so quickly. And really, despite the fact that this runout was absolutely beautiful for the Romanian player, it does seem that the Japanese player has a bit of an edge still going on. Not only 5 points, but also more placed tiles, and more importantly, this extra dangerous spots with the blues. So now, of course, the Romanian can grab these 2 blues, but it will only delay the inevitable, because look at this, 3 blues are still here. They will converge, and they will appear here eventually. So, or a potential opportunity, maybe Chiba wants to grab these 2 reds, place them on row 2, and then eventually make the 3 blues converge and use them for row 3. So we will see how exactly the Japanese player proceeds. So now thinking for a little bit. Hi Amiris, hi Sapatao. I am paranoid. Do let me know how the sound is doing. And also, like this video if you want to see Azul content. Well. So the Japanese players here makes an interesting strategy. Look at this. He just wants to group things in the center in such a way that forces his opponent to build in efficiently and get this extra floor line point. Now grabs the one blue with the idea that if the Romanian grabs this blue, then the Japanese player will grab this blue, so the completion of the second row is guaranteed. So presumably we might just go ahead and finish the blue, or we might just actually take the red for our top row. I don't think this is what's going to happen. Well, I think the idea that the Japanese player wants to have is he wants to have these three whites on Busulitsa's floor line. And he's trying to calculate how does he make it so that the number of moves after his move is odd rather than even. Well, let's see. So for example, let's say if Busulitsa now grabs this one black and puts it over here, then Chiba can just grab this one red, place it over here, allow Busulitsa to finish their row 5, but then force many tiles into Busulitsa's floor line. And oh, I should remind you that some of my viewers probably don't play Azul, but yeah, if you build inefficiently, if you drop tiles in the floor line, you lose quite a bit of negative points. So that's why. The Japanese player, the Romanian player chooses not to fall for that trap and first puts the gold in his first row. So in also quite an efficient way to build up his first row. Lots of adjacency bonuses. This yellow nicely squeezes in between the blue and the red. And interestingly, now Chiba now recognizes the situation and he chooses to take one black, which gives him fewer points. Fewer points at the top, but it makes sure that Busulitsa does not finish his row 5, and also he gets a bit of extra from this 1 point in the third line. Just beautiful round here by the Japanese player, sacrificing some adjacency bonuses at the top just to make sure that the build-up at the bottom is neat, and 9 points advantage already for the Japanese player, but a fantastic tile run out for the Romanian as the 3 blues go in his row 4. They will give him 6 points as he, of course, completes the black here, the black here, the white here. Honestly, it seems that there is enough in this round to accomplish all of the Romanians' objective, while the Japanese will be struggling. He needs either the white or the red here, the red or the black here. And, of course, there's a sufficient number of blacks. But if a Japanese player uses the blacks for row 2, then the problem is that this gives the Japanese player only 2 points as opposed to 6 points if he were to build this up with 2 reds. High board game to tears. Yeah. Forgetting to participate is one sure way to lose the tournament. Well, interesting. Look at this. So the Japanese player chooses to prioritize the whites just to disallow the whites on row 2 for Busulitsa, but Busulitsa chooses to complete the row 2 with the blacks instead. Wow. And again, what a move. Just it's so beautiful. Look at this. So the Japanese player is super patient with his row 2. He now forces Busulitsa to use the 2 blacks for row 1, but this allows, look at this, this is just such beauty. He was super patient and waited until these 2 reds converged, and now he's able to build up his row 2 efficiently, row 3 efficiently with his extra 5 points. Even though, again, the tile run out was quite favorable for the Romanian player, just the way the Japanese player was able to handle this is spectacular. He has 4 points ahead on the scoreboard, and it looks like it's going to be a victory for the Japanese player because he figured out the tile counts, knew that there were very few whites remaining, and spent the previous round on disarming his opponents from all these whites. Now, because there are only 2 whites, Busulitsa will be able to complete only one of his top 2 rows, whereas the Japanese player will be able to grab 2 blacks here, 1 red here, and honestly, nothing else matters. I can't seem to find a way for the Romanian player to even try create some sort of problems for Chiba. Well, I guess I can see something. Well, maybe Busulitsa can get 6 points from a bunch of reds over here. Oh, and maybe if he can get 4 gold, he can also get some extra points with that. That could work, actually. But the problem is that the Japanese player is too smart. There's no way they're going to allow that. So then I'll take 1 red, which is not what I would have done. I would have probably taken 2 reds just to disallow this opportunity of 3 reds converging and going into here. But then again, I'm not playing the playoffs for a reason. Now, it seems that the Romanian kind of should take these guys just to prevent Chiba from going over here and scoring 5 points with the black. An alternative I see is maybe doing something like this precisely, yeah, but the problem is that Chiba could just grab the 4 gold for 4 points, put them over here. Then Busulitsa will be forced to grab... Oh, okay, interesting. This is not what I expected, but sure. This is not what I expected. Now 4 gold, presumably. No, not even necessarily 4 gold. Well, let's just see what the player do. Oh, that is also another opportunity. Just to force Busulitsa to get the negative points from the starting player token. Since this is the last round, the starting player token has 0 value. Okay. So 4 points. No, 4 points, but 4 black tiles go on Busulitsa's row 3 for extra 3 points. For an extra 1 point plus 4 and minus 3 in the floor line, the golds go on row 4. And finally, right in the middle go the blues. They do nothing, but just a spectacular performance from the Japanese player. We will see the exact score just in a second. Just excellent tile tracking. And did you notice how they managed to be extra patient, wait until the tile groups that they need converge in the center? They had no rush in round 4. The crucial decision was to wait for these reds and not settle for these 2 points from the 2 blacks, but wait for the 6 points from the 2 reds. And just the pure tactical skill of the Japanese player is spectacular. Chiba 1i will be moving to the finals, and Busulitsa will be playing for the bronze medal just in a second. Well, not in a second. But let us have a look at the other game, because in the meantime, Self-Evident is playing against Cassis. So, Self-Evident 3 will be finishing up their game quite soon. They're already playing the last round, and it does look Wow, that is going to be a complete destruction because the Chinese player here has 2 columns and 3 extra points. That's 2 columns in comparison to 1 column of Cassis. And moreover, Cassis is about to drop a whopping 11 floor line points. So, well, the highest rated player, the Chinese player, is indeed advancing to the finals, and we're going to have an exciting China versus Japan final. Self-Evident versus Chiba, both well-known Azul players, and Self-Evident also well-known Carcassonne player as well. One of the top strikers for Team China, and Cassis will be playing against Bulit in the bronze medal match. Alright, the AMA update score in just a second. So Chiba won against Bulit, and Self-Evident won against Cassis. Okay, let's actually try this. First of all, let's check if there's going to be a break at all. I believe there's going to be a little bit of a break. So I'm going to just change the scores. So Self-Evident is going to play the finals against Chiba. Actually, final, yeah. Bronze medal game. Actually, let's call it grand final, just because that's fashionable. And this is going to be Bulit against Cassis. Yeah, beautiful. All right, now time to move it a little bit closer to the center. Alrighty. Oh, hi Self-Evident, congratulations. David is saying, I thought I knew how to play Azul, I just realized I don't. Well, it's not an easy game at all. Yeah, I managed to win a couple of Azul tournaments. I placed second in last year's Mind Sports Olympiad and third in the in-person Mind Sports Olympiad, but now it seems that it's actually the level of the game has risen in comparison since last year, and now, of course, for the first time ever, there's going to be an Azul World Championship, a separate video on that happening somewhat later. Well, let's see if they're starting the finals. Yes, they are starting indeed. So, Self-Evident has not started just yet. Let's have a sneak peek at the bronze medal game. So they have started, but I think after round 1 we should switch to the gold medal game because that simply matters more. 3 golds go to the center for Cassis, an abundance of gold, but Bulit now decides to place the 2 blacks to build column number 2. Certainly a solid choice. Completes the row 4, so currently 4 tiles on each of the opponent's board. Cassis with a slight tempo advantage, but overall I prefer Busilit's position slightly more. For example, now Cassis can force the action a little bit. Okay, this also works. Yes, this is very interesting. And so the idea here is that these two blues fit into the second column very neatly, and also these two blues would have fit Cassis very nicely here. And now Cassis, of course, trying to build column number 4 and places the two blues at the bottom. I think if you're Busulitsa, yeah, this is a move for sure. I love that move. Presumably, we're just going to see lots of floor line points from Cassis. Cassis is probably going to take the one red and discard it because the red fits neatly into Busulitsa's 5th row. But he chooses not to do that. No, thinks better of it. Honestly, it's very difficult to recommend something from Cassis. So, the blacks to block his own row. This is very, very interesting. So, of course, he wants to put the blues here eventually, but maybe he just doesn't want to lose points so much that he chooses to temporarily block his row 4, get the 1 point where he gets the 2 blacks, and then later completes it. Oh, self-evident is saying Chiba wants to take a break. Okay, good to know. Just actually let me know in the chat when you start playing so that we don't miss the start of your game. So I'm not a fan of Cassie's move, allowing this one red for Busulitsa. And look, he gets punished immediately. All these blues, which would have fit very nicely for row 4, will now not go to row 4 because the row 4 is filled with blacks. So instead, he wants to finish row 5. Forced move here. Busulitsa is threatening row 3, so Cassis is forced to grab the one remaining tile group. Will he take the 2 blacks now to finish his row 4? Actually, I think Busulitsa missed a chance. If I were the Romanian player, I would have, instead of the gold, I would have grabbed the 2 blacks for this row. And even though it doesn't give me this much adjacency bonuses, to have these blacks as a thorn for Cassis, this would have been super, super annoying. But now the Belgian player can sort of unscramble and consolidate. So Cassis still needs to fill his top 2 rows, and Busulitsa has already done this partially. And Cassis sacrifices one of his 2 rows just to get slightly better adjacency bonuses, of course. Cassis does not let Busulitsa to grab the one remaining red, just so that Busulitsa gets slightly fewer points, just only 1 point from the top. And Cassis managed to survive without significant floor line losses and to get that 3rd row completed, and temporarily has more points. But overall, just because Cassis has a missing 2nd row, long-term advantage definitely is with the Romanian player here. Especially with this gorgeous tile run out. So what do we see? I mean, eventually as Cassis, we're going to need to grab one of these reds. We're not in a gigantic hurry to do so. Okay, so I see many good options for us. Yeah, grabbing the black makes sense because this creates the threat of grouping together these 2 reds, which is why Busulitsa immediately recognizes that and does not allow the Belgian player to group these 2 reds. So the Romanian is trying to be efficient, and now Cassis decides to drop 1 red in the floor line just so that Busulitsa does not grab it for the top. But then, of course, here there are many things that the Japanese player can do. For example, it's like grabbing one white is actually not out of the question. And I think this might be even the best move, because the idea with grabbing one white, yeah, I really like it, is to disrupt these whites here, to not allow the completion of row 3 with 3 whites. And of course, Bulit grabs the 3 blues just so that Cassis doesn't create the threat of row 5. But actually, I'm not even sure if that's the best move, because look at this. I think there's a sufficient number of gold for Cassis to threaten a complete column. I mean, a complete color, I mean. Yeah, because like, look at these, 3 gold. If 3 gold's over here, then Cassis can get 10 extra points at the end of the game for all these complete gold. So, but this is the remaining first to move. Grabs the 2 blues. I like this move, trying to take away as many blues as possible, because look at this. Cassis still has not completed his column here. And Cassis decided to simply take the first player tile, and Bulit is just building up and building up all of these gorgeous blues. A big decision point here for Cassis. I mean, do we just take these 2 blues and put them here? Because I'm not sure if that's the best move, actually. If I were Cassis, I would probably have preferred... I don't know. I would have... I really like taking the blues here first. He sort of gets away with that, but now what do we do? I think, well, we might take, actually... a move that I like is taking 1 white. And it puts, yes, it puts your opponent in an uncomfortable position, because let's say if Bulit takes 2 blues, we take 2 blues, then Bulit is probably forced to take 3 reds in the top row, and then we can take the 3 gold. So that's a very nice combination here by Belgian. Are we going to see a comeback? I do believe that there are blues still remaining for row 4. And look at this. So let's assume, let's say if Bulit chooses to take these 3 golds and place them over here, he doesn't. But then we, no, oh, no, why? Why would you not threaten complete color? There's a sufficient number of golds. That was the whole plan. Like, why do we need an extra negative point when we could just so wonderfully threaten complete color? That's why, because unlike me, Cassis is counting tiles, and he knows that there were in fact no blues available, but then no golds available. But when what he should have done instead of discarding this 1 black, he should have counted and placed this 1 black over here, so that with the 4 remaining blacks he can threaten row 5. I think so. I think this would work. Because it turns out with such a large number of whites, there's really not a lot of value in having this row open. Yeah, tough position here for the Belgian. It does look like the Romanian is going to take the bronze. And this is so interesting how quickly the players are counting the tiles. There's just no good move that Cassis can make. And also a bit of an unlucky tile draw that there was a group of 3 blues, but no group of 2 blues. And look at this. This blue could have belonged here up top, but it didn't. Now it is in Kostas' floor line. Whereas Bulit has the standard setup with the 2 top rows fully completed, and we're going to see a win of like plus 15, I don't know. Something in that range. Because also if Kostas is not careful enough, then 4 whites can go onto row 4 for Bulit, or 3 reds can go onto row 3 for extra 3 points. Yeah, it does seem that the best that we can do is actually grab the whites, place them over here for a net -1 point. Oof, oof, oof. I'm not sure if that's gonna work out at all. Oh, I get the idea. The idea is that we force the opponent to grab the starting player tile, which of course has negative value in the final round. But actually we don't even have to grab it. Yeah, we might just take the 5 reds. Take 3 points, lose 4 points in the floor line, so only -1. Kostas, I think. Yeah, Kostas is going to be losing 1 point no matter what. So let's say if they take these blues, these whites, then these whites will give them 2 points, but cost them 1 negative point. Cost them 3 negative points, so that will be net -1. And so what really Bulit needs to do is to grab the 3 whites, exactly. Kostas will discard the 1 black, and a blowout win for the Romanian player. A bit closer than I expected, +9. But a well-deserved bronze medal for Bulit and a rating approaching the 700 threshold of Master. The bronze medal goes to Romania, and we saw how they managed to play very efficiently, and I think it's really the first round they're betting on the second column, recognizing the tile runout with the 3 neat groups of blacks, whereas the same blacks caused problems for Kostas, and this is really what made them lose the game, because they were stuck so long trying to build their row 4 that all the blues became used up. And look at this. So this blue that they had over here, it really belongs here and here, and as a result of missing out on rows 2 and rows 1 repeatedly, Kostas lost some easy adjacency bonuses. Alrighty. Well, it does seem that we have 10 minutes until the game of Self-Evident, until the grand final. Yeah, so we can see that the game has been created. So I'm just gonna read the chat and see what you're writing. It's 3 a.m. in China and 4 a.m. in Japan. So perfect. So Self-Evident, you're gonna have the tiredness advantage, that Chiba should be slightly more tired. Well, what else? I think I'm just going to leave you for 8 minutes and come back in 7 minutes or so. Unless there's anything in particular that you want to talk about. Let me actually just add the bronze medal score here. Oh, I guess I could use the time to update you of upcoming new content. There's a video I'm making that's surprised, which is always the case. There is going to be a special celebration for 1,000 subscribers. You may have noticed that we crossed this threshold. It's a hugely important threshold for me. Stay tuned for that as well. And on top of that, tomorrow there's probably going to be some sort of regular stream. But this will be announced a little bit later today. It's going to be either Carcassonne against subscribers or Azul against subscribers. And later this month, I'm launching another new Azul type of Azul content. These would be viewer games analyses. So if you're a Azul player yourself and you would like to have your game analyzed on stream, then send me a link to the game either on Board Game Arena or using the email address which is in my YouTube profile somewhere. And this is going to happen in late March at some point. Alrighty, now actually I'm gonna get the cheap graphic of the fact that we're on break. Okay, let me just put that here. I'll be back in 5 minutes. There we go. Alrighty, see y'all in a bit. We're back. For once, we're going to be back on time. Okay, now turned on my sound. Yes, 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 all good. Turned on the sound. And we should be able to just restart. The game has started, I think. Yes, yes. Let's go. So the Chinese player is the first one to move. Hi, Natasha. Hi, P-chan. Quite a good run out with lots of wets. Very wet board. So certainly potential for column number 3 here. With the cup, actually, you know what? I really like the move of just taking the 2 whites here. Yes, 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 bro. Yeah, there we go, there we go. Nice, nice, nice. And the idea here, like, if Chiba wants to take the 2 whites to prevent us, let's say maybe for row 3 or whatever, then we can just take the 2 blacks and sort of get the upper hand. You know, this configuration of having 4 tiles, 2 plus 2 at the bottom 2 rows, in such a way that they align into a column, especially if it is the middle column, it is quite powerful. And then the tops will probably be able to add maybe a couple of blues here, some extra blacks here, and so on and so on. So which is why Chiba doesn't bite. It is an absolutely excellent move, because if we are to take the 2 whites here as the Japanese player, then we will be giving Chiba the opportunity to take the first player tile and the 2 blacks and complete their row 4. Which is why Self-Evident does not bite. He's saying, no, 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 no. You take the 2 whites. And if you take the 2 whites, I'm going to take the 2 blacks and put them at the bottom row and proceed with my configuration. Also notice how the top tile is aligned very nicely along the middle column. Natasha is asking, thanks for commentating the final. How often do you stream? I stream weekly. So I stream Carcassonne and Azul, but it's mostly Carcassonne. And Azul, I probably stream monthly, but I'm trying to do every 2 weeks now, as it's going to be not only Azul against viewers, but also Azul viewer games analysis at the end of the month. And of course, Azul tournaments are not happening often enough for me to stream them regularly, but I wish they did. So Chiba chooses to complete their row 4, and well, let's see, do they do it now or do they want to do something else first? Maybe they want to grab something for the row 2. Yeah, like, honestly, Self-Evident's position just looks amazing. Because I think he can force something really sinister. So let's say as we go with 2 reds over here, I think this is the move. Actually, no, never mind, never mind, never mind. Yeah, I really like the move. And the idea is that we're sort of forcing Chiba to draw the 2 blacks. And then we can grab another red. Something like this. No, this is actually more complicated. Let's just see what the Chinese player does. But there certainly needs to be something good for row 2, plus the opportunity to get a bit in row 3 and rows 5. So now the big threat is, of course, taking the 2 blacks for row 5, and at the same time depriving Chiba of these blacks. Well, surely this ain't gonna fly. Yeah, and now, of course, now, yeah, of course, the two blues come over here, and that's a very neat combination. This, so Chiba's absolutely forced to take a blue. I presume here for row 3, could also use for row 1, could also discard, that also makes sense, because now, of course, self-evident will discard 1 red, and 2 gold go for row 1 for Chiba, so well, quite an advantage here for the Chinese player. 1 extra point and 2 extra tiles and the starting player advantage. A balanced run out, a bit of something for both players. So a nice chunk of reds here available for the bottom row for Chiba. Also 3 whites available for the third row for Chiba, and self-evident doesn't really need whites in a lot of places. I guess he could take the white here to sort of block Chiba's idea of getting 3 whites in row 3, but then eventually he will need gold here, probably, maybe like gold here, blue here. No, this is interesting. I'm not 100% sure about that move, but it's very, very interesting. And the idea here is to not allow his opponents an easy move on row 3, right? Because I think maybe in some scenarios Chiba places 1 blue here and then 2 blues here and so on and so on. Now, beautiful move here by Chiba. So places the blues where they belong and also forces self-evident to discard something in the floor tile, because now the idea of placing 2 blues here, 2 yellows here and 1 yellow here is not going to work. Now self-evident will need to take the 1 black here instead of 1 yellow. But what does that mean? This means that self-evident will have fewer blacks to place here at the bottom row. This is certainly quite entertaining. So what do we do here? Certainly an opportunity that I see is maybe grab 1 black, and then this would group together these 2 reds, and this would force Chiba into a decision. Do they take the 2 reds over here, or do they go to, or do they take 2 reds over here for better adjacency bonuses? And also, if we don't do that, in some scenarios, like I can see 3 blacks going over here, which is not the best case scenario for self-evident. P-chan is asking, did you want the classification for the Azul World Championship? Yes, I will. I won one of the qualifying tournaments. I will be participating at the World Championship this April in Portugal. I'm super excited about that. More related content about that to follow. Interesting move by self-evident. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I mean, he's of course much higher. Well, used to be much higher rated than me. Used to be rated over 900. So he must know something that I don't. But what is self-evident going to do if Chiba just grabs 2 blacks and discards them? Because then there'll be the threat of getting 3 whites. As self-evident, we don't really have a good place to place 3 whites. I don't know how that's going to work. Well, let's see. Instead, he chooses to take the 1 black, and it's so interesting. Again, so we've seen this time and time again. He sacrifices adjacency bonuses just for the sake of preventing his opponent from completing the column. Now a choice for Chiba. Well, I'm surprised he instead, okay, I mean, I'm not, it makes sense, of course, kind of he wants to build the column. Instead of taking the immediate point. So of course, if you were to take the 2 blues here, then he would be able to force 4 negative points for Self-Evident. Chooses not to do that. Self-Evident will be the first to move in this round. Balanced run out again for both players. A bit of a shortage of whites. Just enough for Chiba to complete his column. And maybe... yeah, honestly, it looks like actually a pretty good run out for Self-Evident because... well, maybe we can grab 2 blacks here. And then eventually we'll be able to converge and grab 2 blues, 1 black here, 1 black here, and then either 3 whites here, or 4 golds here, or 4 of 3 reds here. Honestly, I see scenarios where possibly both players might be able, no, not both players, but where Self-Evident might be able to complete every single row in this round. I presume we're going to see a move which takes 2 reds from Chiba. There are a variety of other options as well. 1 blue is not inconceivable. But I don't really see many other moves because anything else that we play, if we don't take from the center here, it kind of puts Self-Evident in a good position. But he chooses not to take from the center. Interesting. So a variety of options. I think we're going to see a move not from the center again. Maybe 1 black at the top to create a double threat of these 2 blues and the 3 whites. Or, actually, you know what? The move with the 2 blacks is also reasonable. Yeah, I really like it. Because these 4 reds look super juicy, but if Chiba places 4 reds over here, Chiba will have a really hard time finishing row 3, so I don't think he's going to do that. I really like this move here by the Chinese player, and also the threat of taking the 1 black here super efficiently for row 1, it's still live. And his row 3 is still open. Well, what does he do here? Does he take just 1 black here? But then Chiba will be able to take 2 blues here and kind of disrupt the idea of Self-Evident to complete this row 4. And I think completing this row 4 is something that Self-Evident does want, because after this round, Self-Evident's going to need 2 blues over here. And it's not great to be in a position of needing the same color for more than 1 row. So he'll be needing blues here and blues here. So it will be a priority for Self-Evident to actually get something done with the blues right now. And he prioritizes accordingly. I like it. So he guarantees himself the completion of row 4, because let's say if Chiba goes here, then we might just go here as Self-Evident, and then we're going to have just enough to finish all the rows that we need to finish. Wow, what a move. What a move. So Chiba chooses, almost like a tongue twister. Chiba chooses, which other word starts with ch? Chinese. Well, Chiba's not Chinese, Chiba's Japanese. Self-evident is Chinese. Anyway, Chiba chooses to discard the tile that self-evident needed for row 1. And now the idea, it's quite difficult actually for self-evident to play productively here. It looks like he's going to need to lose some substantial floor line points. So here's an option. We take a blue, then Chiba takes a blue. Then we're kind of forced to take the 4 yellows over here. Oh, look at this. Self-evident went over time. Wow, and Chiba was about to even expel him. Actually, I'm not sure. Does this count as a loss, though? I'm not sure what the tournament rules are. Apparently it does not count as a loss. Yeah, oh, that's so beautiful. So, of course, self-evident basically wanted to prevent discarding a lot of stuff on the floor line, but as a result, Chiba will now probably be able to grab this and then something for the top and just be super happy. So it is not self-evident, it is Chiba who will end up finishing all rows. Now, is there anything better than grabbing the 4 reds? And he says yes, there is. Not sure why exactly you do that. I think I know the idea. So he wants to balance out the tiles that he uses for different rows, and he didn't want to use the whites in all of these places. Just so that he needs white, it's in only one place. And look at this, so he must know something that we don't regarding the number of remaining tiles, because he chooses not to discard this tile, but to be extra efficient and slightly clog up his row 4 for the sake of spending 1 point. And he knows exactly what he's doing, because look at how many whites were remaining. I mean, the Japanese player has been super efficient. Okay, thank you, Natasha and Genki, for confirming that a loss on time is not considered a loss, which is actually pretty interesting the way Board Game Arena works, because the way Board Game Arena works is that you can kick your opponent and claim the victory when your opponent goes for negative 20 seconds, right? But the way Azul works is that if you grab a tile group, put it, and then cancel your move, it counts as 2 different moves, so you keep gaining time. So actually it is possible to gain time pretty much like artificially, I think. Well, let's see. Chiba's now about to lose on time, minus 15 seconds. Self-evident chooses not to initiate the kick sequence, but, well, he might, I'm not sure if he will, actually try and build a second column. Oh, that's sinister. He can grab this guy, place it on row 3, and then guarantee that he's going to get either this or this, one of these 2 tile groups, and as a result he's going to get 3 golds right here in the middle for a boatload of points, for 7 points actually. but he might prefer to do something else. He might want to grab the whites first, kind of not allow Chiba this. Or he might want to guarantee himself row 2 if he wants to take the blues. I do not understand this move. This is probably genius. This is probably genius. 1 red on row 5. What does this do? I have no idea. Okay, I think I have an idea, right? So he basically wants to disrupt row 2. So he did not allow Chiba to continue his row 2. So that works well. The problem with that move is that it basically kisses goodbye to the idea of, you know, threatening a second column. Because look at these yellows and whites. Whites could have gone over here. But now this threat is really no longer alive. However, there are some options for some other threats. So maybe we can get 2 blues here, 1 black here, 4 golds here, and like threaten 3 whites here. So something like this. Still very favorable for self-evident, but it's not obvious exactly what they're going to do. Both players in negative time. Chiba initiates the kick sequence. If the Chinese player does not react quickly enough, he will lose the game on time. This is such a weird time for... Whoa! He chooses to continue a different row. This is very interesting. Maybe his idea is he knows that there are very few whites remaining, and so he wants to grab the whites here. And then threaten something else. Oh, no, 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 no. Self-evident is saying connection's not good. So he has having connection issues. But he shouldn't have told that, because now Chiba will be trying to just dump him every single time. So self-evident does go for the idea that I was talking about earlier. The idea of getting 7 points here for row 4, which is super neat, and then just completing this with something. So he will be able to threaten row 2 with the 2 blues, or row 2 with the 2 whites, or row 3 with the 3 whites. Chiba now also in negative time. Grabs the whites, which I'm not sure. Well, let's see what this actually does for him. So an obvious move that we see, yes, exactly this self-evident could go for the standard tactics, allowing making 5 moves, making sure that self-evident that Chiba discards something in the floor line. So everything that was forced. Chiba is now threatening complete color, but it's actually not going to work for the variety of reasons. It only looks scary, but it actually isn't. Self-evident gets his row 2. I think he will have trouble getting his row 2 later, because I'm not sure if there is even 2 blacks remaining. And now 1 red will of course go to the bottom of self-evident's row. Players are making natural moves, and as a result, both players have run to the positive clock. Self-evident has almost a minute. Chiba will now probably discard this 1 black tile, and it is the Chinese player who will head first, heading into the last round, I believe with a slight advantage, due to his brilliant sequence of row 4, plus 8 points. And look at that, look at that. Oh, this is so fascinating. So the problem, actually, wait a minute. Did self-evident just lose the game? Because the way I see it, Chiba has loads of threats. Self-evident has nowhere where he can place the blues. Chiba places the white for his right, for his last the last available white for row 1. Now, will self-evident find the strongest move? The move that I like here is actually grabbing 1 red for here, just to converge these 3 yellows. He does not do it. Okay, it seems that Chiba can force heavy floor line losses for self-evident, but will that even work? So for example, if Chiba gets this tall, like if Chiba gets one blue, sorry, one gold here, yeah, and this is what he chooses to do, then we can get the reds here, and then Chiba can take the blacks here, and then this will force self-evident to dump 6 blues at the bottom for a whopping minus 14 points. So will perhaps the Chinese player come up with a different approach? Let's actually see what the lead is at the moment. So the Chinese player is 10 points ahead, 2 points on the, oh no, so 9 points ahead. Now only 7 points ahead. Okay, so he is now, wow, 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 wow. This is stunning. So he first dumped 2. Wow, this is just incredible. I think self-evident really found a brilliant way how to avoid the discard tile. Because look at this, he can just, well, I mean, he can discard, of course, these things, right? He can put the blues over here. But then Chiba will take probably the 2 golds, and then self-evident will be able to take the 4 blacks that he created for himself. This is something I find rather beautiful. Because you see these 4 blacks, they will give 4 points on row 4 for self-evident, which might as well be enough to win. Well, actually, let's check this. I don't have time to calculate. Or maybe I do. So 6, 9... Wait, no, I think Chiba's still winning. It's too difficult. It's too difficult. Let's just watch. Let's just watch. Okay, so it is clear now that Chiba should take blues to get 7 points. Here, beautifully on row 4, and then allow self-evident to take 4 points here. Because if Chiba takes the blacks, Chiba just loses more points than self-evident does. And this is exactly what he chooses to do. Self-evident is saying congratulations. So we do believe that as a result of, look at this gorgeous sequence at the end. Wait. It's a tie? So why is he saying congratulations? I think because Chiba placed higher in the Swiss round tournament. I think that was the case. Because Chiba got 6.5 and self-evident got 6, I think something like that. Because the game is an actual tie. So normally in ties in Azul, the tiebreaker is the number of completed lines, but both players have the same number of completed lines. So it is this brilliant sacrifice of 2 blues that enabled Self-Evident to save the game. But did that save them the title? Let's actually, I'm just going to have a look at what they're talking about. While the tournament organizers are being silent, we will get a verdict on this soon enough. Okay. Yeah, Chiba is saying they don't know if that's a rematch or no. Well, let's see. I don't remember the tournament rules. Okay, Natasha's saying it goes on seeding. So then I think Chiba was the one who was the higher seeded player. Okay, hi Self-Evident. So then you said that you miscounted. So you were thinking that you were losing the game. Actually, I mean, let's see what the tournament director decides soon enough. But one move which I thought was really interesting, I think these reds, maybe instead if we just discard this one red in round 4, then we can leave our bottom row for different threats. And when all these blues come in round 6, then we can kind of try and, well, first we'll finish our row 5, then our opponent is forced to take a bunch of blues, and then maybe we can sneak in 2 whites here somehow, or I don't know, maybe we can sneak in 3 gold here, or something like this, just to have more space available. But it was also quite evident that both players were short on time. So they may have not enough time to double check all the why can't I finish the sentence? To double check all the tile counts. Yeah, I'm looking at the tournament Discord, waiting for the tournament director's verdict. They're double checking the rules. And the only thing that remains for us to wait, it should be cheap. Well, let's actually just have a look who was winning. No, actually, let's have a look at the bronze medal game. No, we had a look at it anyway. What I was talking about. What am I talking about? Bulit won the bronze medal game. Yeah, so if we just have a look at Self-Evident here. So, oh no, then Self-Evident should win, right? Right. Let's just have a look at this tournament. So this was the Swiss round. Yes. So Chiba was 4th. So this means that either Self-Evident is the champion or we have ourselves a rematch. Whoops, wrong link. Because how many points did they score? Oh yeah, Chiba had 5.5. The minimal threshold to qualify, and Self-Evident had 6 out of 7 victories. Who was the only person who Self-Evident lost to? Let's actually have a look at that. Game history. Oh, they won against StatMat. Oh, they actually lost against Bulit in the qualifiers. So in the Swiss round. And they never had to play against Bulit in the playoff. Yeah, Self-Evident saying the red is a mistake. Probably, but it looked quite spectacular. Honestly, like the idea to disrupt your opponent's row 2 was super nice. Well, anyway, let's go back to the final Final. Ends position. Chiba is writing in the tournament champion. I think Self-Evident and me are double champion. Nope, that's not how it's gonna work. There could be only one. No friendship. Only animosity. I will not accept this. Actually, I just want to Google something. Time in Japan. Almost 5 a.m. So maybe Chiba deserved the title for having the time disadvantage. Luckily, it's Saturday, not Sunday. Like, imagine finishing a Mind Sports Olympiad and then having to wake up to work in like 5 minutes. So the tournament director is coming up with some sort of decision. You can't see it with me, but I'm just in Discord and I'm watching the beautiful animation of the 3 dots as the tournament director is typing something. In the meantime, just make sure to like the video and subscribe if you want more regular Azul content. I mostly stream Carcassonne and upload Carcassonne content, but I do Azul once in a while. I try to make like my every 5th upload an Azul upload. Not always successful, but it is gonna be there. Well, the tournament director stopped typing. I can't take this. I want to know. "4 hours ago was the start of the tournament, so quite tiring if you're in East Asian time zone. Like, imagine you had to start after midnight as Chiba, and then you have to deal with all that, and then maybe lose the entire tournament after a tie. Okay. Alright, so here's the message from the tournament director. "I have verified with the second arbiter. The tournament rules and information sheet states, in the event of a tie, the higher seeded player shall progress. This means we have to look at the standings from the Board Game Arena automated tournament, which we just had a look, where Self-Evident had the higher ranking with 6 tournament points, and this gives us a podium of Self-Evident, the gold medalist, Chiba, silver medalist, and Bulit, bronze medalist. So congratulations to Self-Evident, and also congratulations for Chiba for a strong performance, and to both these players for endurance and playing in such a difficult time zone, and for the Romanian player with screen and Bulit for taking down 3rd, and of course honorable mention to Cassis from Belgium for taking 4th, just 1 spot short of the podium. So China, Japan, Romania is the podium. The player who was playing in the slightly more favorable time zone won, and is about to probably enjoy their extra hour of sleep.